I'm not really sure why, but I'm feeling kind of down right now, and nothing happened. I'm just feeling that way. I really hate that part about having depression. I was having a pretty decent day at work, and maybe it's just the anxiety of knowing I'm going to have to go home and deal with my roommate. Maybe it's knowing that I have the whole weekend to try to fill up, but I'm feeling a little down now. And I was fine until I had to leave work. Once I left work, I started to feel down, and I don't know why. All I can think is maybe it's just the idea of having to be home for the weekend, and the idea of having to deal with my roommate. I don't know. I was thinking about other stuff, probably because of this mood that I am feeling right now. Like about how I really just need to try very hard to learn how to love myself and depend on myself for happiness and be independent. And just learn how to handle alone time and free time without breaking down crying. It's hard. And it's never been this hard for me before. I really think that once my roommate moves out and my living situation could be much healthier, that psychologically it will be better for me, but it's going to be very hard financially. Hoping I can get a very open-minded roommate who loves cats. I don't know. I start to think things like that maybe I wasn't good enough. Maybe I wasn't good enough for the one that I love, and that's why he didn't want to continue once he had to move away. I don't know. Because I think things like, well, of course, he probably deserves someone who is better. He probably deserves someone who has healthier genes, who doesn't have a mental illness, who doesn't have a dysfunctional family, who was able to finish college. That is something that really bothers me. I am so smart. I'm very academically smart, but life has not been gentle with me, and finishing college has been so hard. It's taking such a long time, and every single time I try to do it, I get so discouraged by the fact that it seems like most colleges are just wanting me to quit my job so that I can structure my schedule around the classes. that's not really an option for me. I wish I could have lived with someone rent-free and just gone to school full-time. People who had that opportunity are so lucky, and I hope that they really appreciate it. That was never in the cards for me. Even whenever I lived at home, my family wasn't paying for my school because they didn't want to. And so I had to work full time so I could pay for classes. And I was fresh out of high school. My jobs weren't paying a lot. It took a lot of work to afford a class and afford the books. And then I just had to pay for all the classes I could afford up front. And then take them and continue working to save up for the next semester. And I did that from 19 through 22. I didn't qualify for financial aid because my parents made too much money. Even when I lived on the other side of the country, I still had to file like I was a dependent. And they assume that your parents are going to help you, and mine were not. And I couldn't stay with them because it was not healthy. It was in a healthy environment. And that college thing really affects my self-esteem. Like, I start to think like what I was just saying, like maybe I'm not good enough for him because I haven't finished college yet. And then I have an autoimmune disease that I was probably born with. It's in my genes. Like, I start to think things like, well, of course he probably deserves so much better. I mean, I feel like we had a good relationship, and I feel like I was good to him, but I feel like if I mattered as much to him as he matters to me, then he would have tried. It would have been so easy for him to dismiss it. And I know it wasn't totally easy for him because he really struggled when he had to move. He really struggled a lot too. But he was the one who said it wasn't practical for us to keep a relationship going. And I can understand that, but I mean, there's a chance that he might be able to get his visa in the future next year. I don't know. This is why I need to stay single. I mean, one, the idea of anyone just kind of repulses me, but I need to learn not to think like this. I need to learn how to love myself and to feel like I'm good enough, because I'm going to attract the kind of partner that I am, or the kind of partner that is attracted to the types of things that I am. And I don't want someone who is attracted to an insecure person, and I don't think that he was attracted to an insecure person. But I mean, the better quality that I am, the better quality partner I can attract. So that right there should be incentive to be better. But I need to work on my self-esteem and confidence and loving myself in general, whether I find love or not. Finding love has never been hard for me. It just seems to be keeping it that's hard. I've had several relationships that were very long, that were like, over a year. I had one that was couple that were like 3 years and one that was 4. So it's not like keeping them for any significant amount of time is hard. It just seems like eventually something happens. But that's what started going through my mind whenever I was leaving work and I was walking home. And I was just starting to feel like really depressed. And I don't know if what happens is I start to feel depressed and then I try to find reasons that justify feeling that way. Or if maybe I was already thinking about this without realizing it. And that depressed me. And then I brought it to the front of my mind. I really hope my roommate moves out this weekend. He was supposed to move out last weekend, and he did not. But I really think if he moves out, it's going to make a big difference for my mental health. And right now, it's not financially beneficial for me, for him to be there, since he's not paying anymore. And I hate that there's nothing I can do. Landlord hasn't gotten back to me. It's just so weird that, I, like most people, usually look forward to weekends and time off, and that has been me for a long time, like my whole life. And now I really dread them because I end up doing this. I have time alone and I just get sad. I think about stuff. I start to question my worth. It's not healthy. I feel like I guess I'm thinking to myself. I'm not thinking out loud right now. Sorry. I want to be able to get to the point where I can actually enjoy alone time of any length of time. Because I've gotten to the point where I can do like maybe one day, but the whole weekend, I can't do that. Like, I end up breaking down at some point. And I do think a lot of that will probably be better once my roommate moves out, because a lot of times the breaking down happens when he comes home or when I have to hear him in the other room. I wish that life could just follow the script that I gave it. Like, none of this was in my plan. None of this was how I wanted things to go. My plan, my whole life, from the time I was 4, was to graduate high school, go to college, become a veterinarian, have my own practice. And I realized in school, like in college, that I couldn't do vet school because of things that they do to animals. I can't do those things to animals. Great. Got my glasses smudged. Awesome. And so then I was like, well, maybe I could be some other kind of doctor. But it is proving to be extremely difficult for me to finish college. Especially since all my courses that I have left are science courses, and schools, it's really hard for me to find a place that has my degree available completely online, where the science labs are also online in this state. So that is proving to be very difficult. I've been trying to go back to college, but over the internet with my college in Oklahoma. But I have to jump through hoops to be able to do it. It's kind of discouraging. I'm trying, but basically I have to get like permission from each of the professors, or not professors, but teachers, before I sign up for the class to do the class from Minnesota. I have to get permission, and I don't know, I have social anxiety. That sort of thing is a little difficult for me. And then the other parts that aren't going quite the way that I wrote the story. You know, like, my roommate and I, we were together for 4 years. I really just thought that he would be a good partner and that he would be honest and loyal. And that's all he had to do. And he didn't do that. And instead of just having conversations with me, he just lied. And then I try again, and that one gets freaking deported, basically. Like, what? What? Oh my god. My luck. I actually had 2 boyfriends in a row that had to move away during our relationship. That is ridiculous. I want love so much. I want love. I want hugs. I want kisses. I want someone to care. I want cuddles. I want someone to hold me when I'm sleeping and hold me if I'm upset. It's so hard going without that when I'm someone who needs it so much. It is a really big struggle for me to try to reprogram my mind so that I don't need those things anymore. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to learn how to be happy by myself. It is so hard. I really miss him. I wonder, like, what he thinks about when he thinks about me. I wonder how he's feeling about me. I wonder, like, what he's doing and how he feels. Maybe I shouldn't wonder these things, but I do. I wonder if he's thinking, you know, that he's sad and that he misses me, or maybe he's like, oh, well, that was convenient. I didn't have to go through the trouble of breaking up with her because I deserve more. I deserve better. You know, probably he was not thinking that. But there's a part of me that wonders if he does think that way. And the idea of him being happier with someone else, it really crushes me. Because it kind of makes me feel like, why couldn't I have been the one that made him happier? This is a really long, rambling video. Why do I always end up crying? I can tell you why. It's because your baseline stress, you know, on average for a lot of people, might be like a 3. It takes quite a bit for it to get to a 7, to a 10. My baseline stress is between like a 7 and a 9. It does not take very much for me to get overwhelmed. So I kind of feel like I'm on the verge of tears all the time. It doesn't take very much for me to get past that verge of tears into actual crying. And that's not healthy. I wish I could afford therapy. I found that therapy was really helpful. I had a therapist I liked. Well, actually, I had quite a few. I had one in Washington that I liked. I had one in Oklahoma that I really liked. And I had one here that I really liked. But I've had a few that weren't very good fits for me. Some that were actually kind of like harmful to me. With like the way that they did it. I don't do well with tough love. That is not a very good style for me. I don't have like real insurance right now because I really thought, because I'm going to attempt to hire at my job, and I really thought that they would hire me on a lot faster. I mean, they offered me a full-time position, or they asked me if I wanted one, a full-time position, back in like May. It is October. Like, why is it taking so long? So I just have preventive care only insurance. It doesn't cover stuff like if I'm sick or if I need therapy. And I've been waiting ever since then. Ever since I started working there, I've been waiting for me to be hired on so I can get better insurance so I can go see a therapist. And I've been there since March. This part of my health has been on hold this whole time. But I feel like the situations I have found myself in the last couple of years are just very different from any situations that I have experienced. And I just don't really know how to deal with them. And I don't really know how to handle these new feelings that I'm having, like feeling this insecure and feeling this anxious all the time, like in this sort of way. I mean, I had anxiety, but I didn't have like relationship anxiety. I just feeling this needy and this dependent, having such trust issues, being so afraid of people. I don't know how to process any of that or how to cope with any of that. That's why I talk to myself on a camera. It's my therapy. I do wish I wouldn't cry so much. And I'm probably going to post this, and other people might watch it if they want to see a 30-minute video of a person crying. And I really hate crying in front of other people, but, you know, I feel like my vlogging is helping, but I also feel like it's important for us to show not just like one aspect of our lives, because I am not depression, I am not anxiety, I am not PTSD. I, have parts of my life that are very affected by that, but there are definitely parts of my life that don't look like depression. They don't look like anxiety. They don't look like PTSD. And so I think it's important for me to, talk about like things that might seem frivolous or silly, because those are part of my life too. But then also talk about this. I mean, depression doesn't always look like depression. Obviously, this looks like depression. Yesterday, I did a goofy video. Pretty sure I didn't look depressed there. I have lots of videos where like maybe I'm smiling and stuff, and someone might look at that and think, oh, that person doesn't look depressed. It's important for us to show different sides of it, because it doesn't always look like what we think depression looks like. I'm so glad that I waited until I was alone to start crying. I guess as alone as the internet. Because I don't like to cry at work. Anyway, I wish that I were capable of stopping crying. Like, some people seem to be really good at it. Like, they can be on the verge of tears, but not be obvious about it. Like their face doesn't turn red. Their eyes don't get watery. They don't get choked up. I can't do that. It's all involuntary for me. Like, my eyes will water, I will get choked up, and my face will turn red. If I don't want to cry, the only way I could do it is by not talking or saying anything, because once I say it, it triggers tears. And that can be really awkward if, like, say I'm being reprimanded by someone and they ask me a question, and I know that as soon as I answer, my eyes are going to start tearing. So I just want to be quiet, but I can't even, like, say, give me a break, I will answer you in a minute. So I just either answer and cry or don't answer and just kind of stare blankly without an answer. I have looked up tips for not crying, and I haven't really found anything that seemed to work for me. Or maybe it works sometimes, but it definitely doesn't work every time. I have found more successful ways in how to recover after crying, so that when you go back to work, you don't look like you've been crying. Maybe I will put together something about that. Maybe that was why I was depressed. I don't know. I mean, because I started this video saying I'm not sure why I'm depressed, and then I just talked about a whole bunch of stuff, so maybe that was it. Or maybe it was just a hormone imbalance, and I was trying to find a reason to be depressed, to explain why I was feeling depressed. I don't know. It's Friday. I have the gym tonight. I think Sunday I'm going to a haunted thing with Mang. And then that's all. I don't think I have anything else going on. Other than maybe some gym stuff. I think I might have some gym stuff going on, but I'm not positive. Hopefully my roommate moves out, and then I can finally have a clean house. Oh my gosh, I really look forward to that. To, like, cleaning and it staying clean. My roommate was enjoying me as a maid, so I stopped cleaning up after him about 4 months ago, and now my house is a disaster. It's embarrassing. It makes me miserable. I know that my cats don't like it. I hate it. But I don't want to be his maid anymore. I shouldn't have to clean up after him and his girlfriends. I mean, I can still clean up my stuff. I just am not cleaning up after him right now. I'm leaving his messes where they are, and they're just piling up. He's been saying for 4 months that he's got to clean the bathroom. It is so, so gross. He hasn't cleaned it once. Anyway, it will be nice once he leaves. I told him he needs to clean the bathroom before he leaves. If I had $1 million, I would probably bet that he doesn't, because I just don't think that he will. But then it'll be really gross for me to clean it. But then after I clean it, it'll stay clean, so at least there's that. Why am I just rambling about this now? I'm so weird. Okay, I hope you guys are having a good day. I hope that you're not as stressed out as I am. If you are, I hope you feel better. I hope that this sort of thing isn't only beneficial for me, that like maybe it might help others. If only, like, maybe it might help you understand a loved one who deals with depression, or maybe you have depression and you can relate. I don't know. Okay, well, have a good day. I'll be back to do my 10 minutes of burpees challenge. I'm already anticipating it's not going to last 10 minutes. That's ridiculous. And then I'll have a gratitude vlog tonight. I'll think of something.